Hey everybody, my name is Scott Shoemaker and I am an estate planning attorney that lives in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And one of the questions that I very often get is, what is probate and why is it so bad? And I just wanted to take a minute today to address that question. It's kind of a two-parter. So probate is the court-supervised process for transferring property when a person dies, and that it's all kinds of property. So real estate, personal property, personal effects, automobiles, that kind of thing, and other types of property. And the reason it's important is so that we have a record of the transfer of ownership. The reason that it has kind of gotten a bad rap is because it has some substantial negative aspects to it. And there are three big ones. One is it is slow. The second is it's expensive, and the third is that it is public. We'll start with the third one to start first, and that is it's public. It's a court proceeding, so all of those filings can be accessed by members of the general public, and oftentimes people don't want everybody to know what sort of assets they owned, or what their debts were, or things that we generally like to keep private during our lifetimes, and so those become public during a probate proceeding. The second reason that it is that people have issues with probate is that it's slow. The Iowa State Bar Association just reported that the average estate takes about 2 years to close in Iowa, and the problem is then certain assets are oftentimes tied up in probate while the estate is still open, and so heirs, that is the people that inherit, can't do things like sell the real estate, or it's more difficult to sell the real estate, and things like that, for that period. And actually an estate typically has to stay open for at least a period of 4 months. So 4 to 6 months is kind of the minimum for probate. But the biggest reason that people have issues with probate is it can be kind of expensive. Typically, when an estate has to be probated, an attorney and a personal representative or an executor has to get involved. And the attorney generally will charge 2% of the total value of the estate. So if you think about an estate that is fairly small, say a $100,000 estate, that attorney is going to charge a fee of about $2,000, and larger estates, obviously, it goes up from there. And the executor or the personal representative may also charge for their work as well at approximately 2%. So again, out of that $100,000 estate, which is small, then $4,000 is consumed by the costs of the probate process, and so that's why a lot of people like to avoid probate. And there are some important tools that will allow an estate largely to avoid probate. That is, we can squeeze the estate down into the small estate category, which generally means that you have less than $25,000 in assets and no real estate that is solely titled to in the name of the person who has passed away. But that's the subject of another video. So probate's not necessarily a bad thing, but it definitely has some negative aspects, and an estate planning attorney can always discuss how you can work with your assets to minimize the impact that probate would have on your estate. Thanks for listening, and come back and listen for more in the future.